Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YINZER Brothers podcast. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim, and you are hanging out again with the YINZER Bros. We are here giving a little preview to the Steelers Dallas game coming up. The Steelers are 3-1. We are coming off a loss to the Colts, 27-24. Tim, not their best game. Tim called it. He called a Tomlin game. I was the man of faith. I was the optimist. Tim, I was wrong.
TJ, there was just too many weird things aligning. Everything was aligning. It was too weird. I was half naked. TJ, not only was I half naked.
Speaking of weird, why you got to bring that in right away?
TJ, I tried to watch the game from 3 different rooms. 3. None of it worked. None of it worked.
So Tim, I blame it on you. I blame the loss on you.
Why?
You figure it out.
You knew it was TJ. You knew something was irkly in the air.
It was weird. I'll give you that. So I mean, it wasn't the best game. There's some good and some bad. Give me some. What's your overall? Give me some ideas of what stood out to you the most about the game.
TJ, I can't stop eating these stinking watermelon bimbo. I can't stop eating them, TJ.
Oh, Tim.
I can't stop beating them. If you cut me right now, I would just bleed watermelon gummy. I would. That's all I'd be. If you stuck me outside, there was a couple coyotes yesterday. All they'd have to do is nibble on me, and they'd be like, "This guy's all he is a watermelon gummy." The whole thing, me.
Have you read to see what the bimbo watermelon gummies are made of?
TJ, they're pure sugar. I can't get enough of them, dude. I mean.
Well, so let's talk about the game.
I keep telling myself I got to lose 100 pounds before I get to Vegas next week. I can't stop eating these bimbo.
You're
bimbo things.
So we're going to be in Vegas in about a week. So give me a couple of your bright spots about the game. This is tough for Tim. Tim is not a bright spot guy. He's not a sunshine guy.
Fields. Besides the two boneheaded plays that were like it was backbreaking. The fumble was backbreaking.
Yeah, that was a tough one. What was the other one?
I still don't know who the fault the snap was on.
Yeah, I just think. Oh, so you got a rookie center, you got a rookie guard. I just think, and again, Field said it was his job. He wanted to take one more peek. I can't fault the guy for wanting to take one more peek at the defense. That's fine.
TJ, that's a huge part. That's a huge thing to get.
I was feeling like they're going to come down here to tie it at the very least. Maybe they'll score a tutty.
I think weren't they in field goal range before that fumble happened?
They were at the 50. They were close. Yeah, they were close. So they were there.
I mean, I can say Fields. Yes, he was one of the good highlights of the game. I thought Deshaun Elliott played well.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I gave an F for Tomlin. Terrible coaching job.
Yeah, he didn't.
I mean,
it seems like the Colts have. I don't know. There's some teams that are a bad matchup for him. It's just a bad matchup. I don't know.
Let me put it this way: I can almost buy. I mean, I get that. If you're getting out schemed, you get out schemed sometimes or whatever. But the plays like, why did he punt early in that first half when it would have been like a 58-yard field goal boss? He's been money all year.
Don't know. Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. I don't know.
That didn't make sense to me. The challenge. I actually went back and I watched a little bit of the other pod from the other day. I actually said he would screw up a challenge somehow, some way. He did.
You're right. You were like Nostradamus, Tim. You're right. He did.
The defensive line was getting pushed around.
Yeah, it just didn't look good. It looked like they just weren't prepared. I mean, they came in better in the second half. I was also impressed. I wish he stayed healthy. Was Cordella Patterson?
Yes, he did look good when he was in there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now, here's the issue. I mean, let's talk about some down parts, your disappointments. What on earth is Najee doing? What have I told you the last couple of years? For him, it's a vision issue. He's not hitting holes. He misses holes.
I'm watching him. He looks like Trent Williams, the guy that old guy from Alabama that was at the Browns. They show video and there'd be a ginormous hole right to in his vision to the right, and he would just run right into the non-hole. You're kind of like, dude, what are you doing, man?
You can run angry all you want, but if you don't have field vision, that's been my knock the whole time. He's not decisive, and he doesn't have good vision.
But it was weird because you watch that first half of that game, and I know Patterson did well, but it looked like the Colts were playing at a different speed.
It did. No, it did. You're right. And I can't tell. I don't know if they just weren't up for the game. Maybe they overlooked it. They thought there's somebody, I mean, but you got to give it to them for this too. The Steelers did fight back. Their defense started to harden. And I mean, you got to,
TJ,
you talk about getting a kick in the balls. Flacco coming in and doing
I agree. TJ, Patrick Queen, he's starting to give me like the EBGB. He stinks, dude. Like he's starting to give me what's his name? Remote joystick guy.
Devin Bush.
He's been him and Dave. He's been like a 1B to Devin Bush's 1A. He's been bad.
And you know what? Where's Mika been? Man, he's not really done much of anything either.
That call was brutal. That was a tough call.
And it was. They did say Tomlin said that again, hey guys, sorry we missed it. Well, that doesn't help us at all.
No.
And I'll tell you what, I don't care what anybody says. TJ Watt is held on every play. Some of those, they were ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They're holding him around the waist. You can't do that.
I get it, but you still gotta make a play at some point. I think he had maybe 2 assisted tackles all game.
You do, but I mean, it was, some of the holds on him were so blatant, it was ridiculous.
I agree.
So they're just not going to call it. So, I mean, I would say this. I'm going to echo with what you said, though. I'm sorry. Again, Fields did make some mistakes. When you look at his total body of work, though, what is he showing you that makes you think he's not an NFL starting quarterback and a good one?
Here's what because I mean, me and you were going back and forth in the game, but it's like, this is what I saw in Chicago. Like, you'd be like, this dude's amazing. Then he would make these 1 or 2 plays. You're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, and it cost you games. Mm-hmm. Like, I've always said it. That fourth quarter, I've seen him so many games in Chicago where it'd be like a 1-score game, and he just never came through. Something dumb would happen, a fumble, he'd take a sack, something, and that's all I've seen in Chicago, and that's basically all I've seen. So he has to show me him pulling. And dude, I get it. He played wonderful, put us on our backs, but there's a different. That 2 minutes when you need it, mm-hmm. You either got it or you don't. And I hate to say it, like, Kenny sucked, but in those 2 minutes, he had something different. So to me, it's like, I got to see that. I have to see that for him. Like, yeah, that dude's the dude.
Yeah, I think his thing though. I mean, if you don't have that fluky snap, is there any doubt in your mind that he's moving him into field goal range at the least?
TJ, I don't know because I've seen it so many times in Chicago. Like, something dumb happens, and like he does that. Something dumb happens, and he'd be crushing it all game, bringing people back, and then something dumb would happen on the last play of the games.
To me, this is different though than Chicago because, I mean, he's not doing hardly any of it with his legs now. He's doing a lot of it with his arms. He's accurate. He looks like he's pretty solid. Again, you got to clean that stuff up, but I mean, how different is that?
I guess my question is, look, dude, we've been saying this since training camp. Clean it up. Sometimes you are what you are.
Well, I think he's been doing good. I think you can see a progression in him. There's no doubt. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, here's the reality. I mean, has he done enough to be the starting quarterback? I mean, if Russell Wilson's in that game, is it even 27-24?
I don't think Russell Wilson can. I mean, it depends what Russ. You're talking 100% Russ?
Yeah.
I mean, 100% Russ could move a little bit. 100% Russ doesn't make that boneheaded play with the fumble. That was a huge play, TJ. Right before the half, ginormous play. So you're probably not digging out of that big of a ditch if that play's not done. But, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, think about this. If Pickens doesn't put that ball on the ground and they score.
I agree. I agree. It was a big play. It was a big play. You had a couple boneheaded plays, but to me, I'm going to go back to that snap. Like, you just can't. I don't care. You can't. It can't happen.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. You got to fix it up. You got to fix it. And again, I appreciate he owned it, which is good. I mean,
but to answer your question, no, he's played well enough to earn. I think he's played well enough to earn, if he has a bad game, not to lose the job. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Well, these were his stats for the game. He was 22 for 34, 312 yards, 3 TDs.
Yep.
I mean, that's 55 of those were 55 rushing yards on top of that. He accounted for 367 yards
TJ,
of the 400 yards of offense.
TJ, there's no doubt he put them on their back, but TJ, when you're a quarterback, you can do it all you want. But if you have those two boneheaded plays,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I would see that there was a stretch in Chicago where he threw for he had 6 or 8 touchdowns and almost 800 yards in a 2-game span, 3-game span. But he would have 1 or 2 plays where he would do what he did,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, and they wouldn't win, and you're like, dude, I don't that those stats can be all great. But you can't do the at critical times. You can't do that.
You know who that reminds me of early on in his career?
Don't say Ben. Don't say Ben.
Oh no. I don't think it was Ben as much, but I think it reminds me a little bit of our Buffalo guy. I mean, they thought he was a bust. Yeah, they thought Josh Allen was a bust his first couple of years.
No doubt, but TJ, this is year 5.
I get it. But I mean, here's the reality, though. I mean, dude, what stability is there in the Bears organization?
None.
I mean, it's so. I think as long as you see strides, I think as long as you shouldn't have to put it on his back too much. I like what they're doing around him. I want to see. My decision for him will be I want to see what he looks like. Week 10.
He's not going to be there week 10.
Who?
Fields.
Where's he going to be?
He's going to be hurt.
Well, dude, he's not running for his life like he did in Chicago.
TJ, he was running a lot for his life.
He had a bad game there, but as far as a full body work, and he's not running crazy like he did before. I don't think he's taking the abuse he took in Chicago.
That line was putrid on Sunday, dude. I think he got pressure, got hit a lot, man.
So again, that has to factor into some of it too. I mean, again, we've been beaten up on the offensive line. There's no doubt.
I know.
I mean,
I agree.
So, we had that. Again, here's a bright spot. Again, he put the ball on the ground one time. Pickens, 7 catches, 131 yards.
Pickens
it also
beast,
speaks
dude.
of. Did you think he'd get this many balls though without having a true number 2? Imagine if you have a true number 2 taking some stuff. I mean, he's getting open and they're throwing the house at him.
Who else are you going to throw it to?
Yeah.
I mean, really. Van
it.
Jefferson, I heard somebody say that perfectly. He's a cone. You might as well put a cone out there.
He is. He's bad. I'll tell you what, man. Washington. Did you see? This is the thing with Washington that gave me shivers. Did you see? So he pushes the dude down. That's fine. When he started running, did you see how big his strides are and how quickly he pulled away from everybody?
I agree.
He looked like he was just walking under. He looked like he was walking underwater.
But you can't tell me when you see him doing that, you think one of those strides, his knee is just going to explode.
Tim, Mr. Rain.
I'm just saying, dude. He's just running. He looks like, he looks like Shaq out there just running, and you're going, dude. When he jumped up in the air, I'm going, don't do that because when you come down, all that pressure on, you're beating the bad knees already. You're going to explode. The bones are just going to go like this. Poof.
His stride. I go back and look at that video. When he's hitting his stride, it looks like everybody else is in slow motion. He looks like he's in slow motion, but he looks like for every one step, everybody else is taking 7. It's ridiculous. He gets past
dude,
that one dude.
You know what it looks like? That would be like a bear chasing me, and me thinking I'm gonna outrun the bear.
That's true, Tim. That's true.
And the bear is taking for every 20 run steps I'm taking, the bear's taking 3 strides. That's what it's like.
Very much. So here's a couple of things, and we'll shift. So the Steelers had more yards than the Colts, and they had more time of possession. Now, again, here's the thing. They had 2 giveaways. And I'm going to throw something out here. If the Steelers defense continues to be the Steelers defense like they should have been, we win the game. I think the defense struggled. You let Flacco carve you up with two tutties.
In the excuse that I heard Tolman say about, well, we didn't prepare for Flacco. Dude, you played against Flacco 26 times in your career.
The statue Flacco.
I just understand why they just didn't blitz him up the middle.
They should have. They should have pressured him up the middle. They should have.
And I don't know. I'm just a little nervous that there's a blueprint out now. Because again, TJ, there was points in that time where I saw, and I know Wilson, he's fast. Mm-hmm. But that dude shouldn't be covering a slot receiver, and I saw it multiple times.
Yeah,
I'm going. What is going? I had flashbacks of Patrick Spillane covering what's his name for the Browns in the playoff game.
Well, here's the thing. We'll talk about the Cowboys in a little bit. Dak's a good passer. They got CeeDee Lamb. they're pretty beat up, and their offense is not that stellar.
TJ, I heard this last week too about the Colts. They're pretty beat up.
Well, we're pretty beat up too. They're 2-2. I think they're like us. We're not sure who they are yet. Before we get in, let's look at the Yinzer mailbag. What is the Yinzer mailbag? It's when you, the fans, get to ask us, the Yinzer Bros, anything you want. We'll talk to you about gardening. We'll talk to you about buffet eating. We'll talk to you.
And I've got a couple texts like, well, where do I get the Yinzer? It should be somewhere. The email address somewhere on throughout the
it's YinzerBros@gmail.com.
Yeah, I mean if you can't
Yinzer
spell
Bros that, and if you watch it, you'll see it on there. And if you
can't spell that yourself, you just it's not don't even waste your time.
Bros, and again, if you're going to email us, the email YinzerBros@gmail.com.
But if you can't spell that out yourself, just don't. It's not even worth.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need to dignify. Tim, what's in the Yinzer mailbag tonight?
All right. The mush went over a lot of stuff. Hey, the refs snatch victory from the hands of the Steelers.
By the way, let me just say this real quick. The refs this year, it is ridiculous how many penalties and stuff they're calling. It is you know what they're trying to do, and they've done a good job with this. They've decided, instead of this thing being a wide open league, passing is down, scoring is down, everything's down. And because there's penalties, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to make us unwatchable. They keep doing this. I'm sorry, that's my soapbox. Go ahead, keep going.
That's a lie. You're never not going to stop watching football.
You know what it is, Tim? It's like Amazon. Remember when that Amazon truck hit that tree in your front yard? And they gave you nothing, right. Hardly nothing? And you said, I'm never using Amazon again. How long did that last, Tim?
I think the following week was like the pandemic, so I had like no option. I was like, Tim. No, Jeff Bezos is my daddy. He basically is.
He is. We need him. He is. I get it.
Yeah. Mark also asked about. Yeah, we didn't even talk about this. The Najee play, which I didn't. Where at the end of the game, where he didn't go out of bounds, or he went out.
That was one of the dumbest things ever.
But here's even dumber to me. Why didn't they use the timeout afterwards?
I don't know. Unless he's thinking we're going to need it to kick the field goal. But Najee,
TJ, it's fourth and you need your best 4th and 11 play. You don't call a timeout.
I get it. I don't know. Najee, you know what? I appreciate the fervor with which he runs. How many years have I told you that he doesn't have good vision?
You're right.
What does he do too? He flips off. Do you see? He flips off the whole crowd to get them all fired up. Good job, Najee.
TJ, you're in Indianapolis. I can only imagine what type of racial slurs were coming out of that crowd for him to do that.
Tim and I were there. We were there for a game. Actually, we were there the year the Steelers went to the Super Bowl. They beat the stuffing out of us that game, and then we came back to beat them. That's when Ben did that shoestring tackle. Remember that, Tim?
The good old
days. We were there for. We're at all those
I don't want to be that guy 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Remember that when that happened? I don't want that anymore. I need new memories.
We do. I'm with you. Tim. Maybe this is the year, Tim.
I guess. He wants to know: are you still in love with Fields? You, as in you, TJ. Are you still in love with Fields?
Fields to me is QB1. I think he'll continue to get better. I think when you look at what's he ranked right now in the league? Is he 7th in the league in passing?
Yeah, he looks good, dude.
In total yards, and then percentage-wise, I think he's 2nd. What more do you? What more do we want? Are we Yinzers? Are we that ridiculous? I mean, wouldn't you be happy if the last couple of years, if we had a QB that was ranked 15? Kenny Pickett was last. Well, maybe there's one guy underneath him. Last.
We've had Ben for 100 years.
Let me ask you a question. Here's a hypothetical thing. At this point right now, would you take Fields or would you take Hurts?
Who?
From the Eagles, yeah.
I think that Hurst stinks, dude. He's done. I'd bench him if I was the Eagles.
You know who's behind him, right?
Yeah, that's why. That's even more for me to say. Who would I take right now? I would. The only reason I'm saying this, Fields is 25 years old, so I'd take Fields.
Yeah.
If they're the same age, I'd probably take Hurst. I don't know. They both give me the heebie-jeebies.
I'll tell you what. I mean, Well, you're seeing from Justin.
Let me ask you. Okay, let me put it this way. So you're telling me right now you would pay Fields what they're paying Hurst?
I think right now, we'll just talk about it. Let's say, would you do say for him? Let's say you had an opportunity to do a 4-year deal for him for what did they say? $150 million.
4-year deal. 4-year deal.
150 million.
150 million. TJ.
I think that's a steal. That's 35 million a year. Baker Mayfield's making what? 40, 45?
I got to see more. I still got to see. I got to see more. You got to give me.
Have you seen enough? Let's say he has some rough games. From what I've seen, his drop off, he is not in these last 4 games. He has not been like Heckle and Heckle. What's it? Heckle and
Heckle and Jide. Jide and Heckle.
No. Jekyll and Hyde. He's not.
Yeah,
it's not like you're holding your breath. He is pretty consistent with his passing.
TJ, I got to see him play somebody good. They played poo-poo teams.
Well, I mean, let's go back now. Look now at where Denver's at.
They stink.
Denver's not awful.
TJ, they stink.
What? They're not awful.
TJ, Bo Nix had like -7 yards passing the other game.
The Falcons are not awful.
They still stink, TJ. Kirk Cousins looks like Falco out there.
I get that. The Chargers were supposed to have the best defense. They're not.
TJ, they stink too.
You're a typical Yinzer, man.
They do.
So
they stink.
Better, the Chargers or the Colts? Say it, Tim. Say it.
I think the Colts are better.
You really think? You think Herbert's not as good as Wahoo McGillicuddy that had a decent game, the only decent game of the year?
TJ, they have more weapons.
If you're picking one,
they have more weapons.
If you're picking one of those two, if you're picking one of those two to go, which one of those two is going to go furthest in the playoffs?
I think the Colts will. They got more weapons. They got more weapons. They got a better running back, and I think their defense is actually better too when it's all healthy.
You know what? The stats say you're full of crap.
I'm just telling you, dude.
So I'm saying this: they didn't play all scrubs yet. They didn't play all scrubs. So they
haven't played anybody good.
Let's say they beat Dallas, this week. I don't know, 27-17. Is that enough for you, Tim? And let's say Fields got 2 tutties. Let's say he's 22 for 27, 2 tutties.
If I know the guys are playing, like Michael Parsons isn't playing, Dallas is 2 of their best players not even playing, dude.
But Tim, see, this is what people don't understand. This is
you know what's going to happen? We're going to go to Vegas. They're going to beat them. They're going to come in here, and somehow, Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt, and I'm going to be like, we're going to pound the Jets too, and they're going to lose the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers this week looked terrible.
That whole thing looked terrible.
I get it. So here's the thing. So Tim, but here's a factor for us though too. So we don't have Highsmith this last week. We're still missing. We're hopefully getting back our best offensive lineman. We haven't had him at all. We lose the second best or the best one we had there for the year. Injuries are part of the game. I get it.
TJ, I get it, but it's such a glaring need as a number 2 receiver. It's unbelievable.
Hey, he's coming. Don't worry.
TJ, he's not coming. We're going to get some – TJ, I'm telling you now, we're going to get some dude that's like some guy that you're going to be like, this guy stinks.
Some white guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think he's coming.
He ain't coming.
I believe
he's making him and Rodgers are having googly eyes all together. I can't go through this. TJ, I'm not going through this again.
We've been the most aggressive, Tim.
TJ, I'm not going.
We're the most aggressive right now.
I'm not going through this, getting my googly eyes all up and then get my heart broken at the altar. Ain't happening again to this guy.
So they're going to grab somebody, whether it's him or maybe that dude from Jacksonville.
I've been refreshing Twitter every 4 seconds for the past 2 days.
Me too.
Trying to think like, hey, this guy Jack McGillicuddy, that's like he looks like he's 15 years old. He knows the scoop right now. It's almost a done deal. It's at the finish line.
Tim, we have sources too, guys. The Yinzer Bros, we have sources. Look at the picture over Tim right now. We have sources.
See what I can get out of this guy when he's all skeetered up down in Vegas.
Okay, what else you got in the Yinzer mailbag?
He goes, what about trading Russ for Waddle? That ain't going to happen.
No, they're not going to give us that. I did tell you this. This is my idea.
I don't think trust me, I don't think the Raiders would do that in a million years.
3 years. Hey, the guy owns his Raider. He's nuts. Have you seen his haircut? He's nuts. But they need a quarterback. Russell Wilson and a 4th rounder for Davante Adams.
TJ, I would pack Russell's bags, and guess what? I may buy out a whole Southwest plan, all the seats, like you and Sierra can fly there. I'll fly you there.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen either. But
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I would be willing to go up to a third round pick and lifetime PF Chang's for Mark Davis to seal the deal.
Dude, did you hear? He was talking about how him and his girlfriend. He's like, she just loves me for who I am. I'm like, have you looked in the mirror? If you got the same haircut as Mo from the Three Stooges, you're not attractive.
TJ, if I had all that money, I'd cut my hair if I had hair just like that too, and I'd be saying the same dang thing. That what you'd be saying? He's an idiot. I'd be like, yeah, guess what this idiot's gonna go do? He's gonna go swim in his what are those silo full of $100 bills like Scrooge McDuck.
If you had that money, you could have hair.
I know. I could work at Turkey, and I mean,
flowing hair.
yeah.
You look like those dudes. Like what was that? What was that dude that had the great hair?
Fabio.
Yeah, the Fabio. You look like the Fabio, Tim.
They would be putting me on the cover of romantic novels.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What else you got in the user mailbag, Tim?
All right. Okay. How vivid is Super Bowl? I think it's 30. Was it 30 when they played Dallas and they lost? Is that the one it was?
Yeah, that was bad.
How vivid in your mind was that?
Neil O'Donnell.
All right, TJ. That was my second biggest heartbreaking sports history.
What was your first one?
Oh, Pirates. Sid Bream rolling around third base all time.
Dude, he screwed us twice. He screwed us the first year he let the ball go between his legs, and then he beat us the next year. He was the one at Atlanta that got the base hit that knocked us out.
TJ, I cried that night as a little kid. Dad let me stay up and watch that game.
We should be in his bushes, Tim. We should be in his bushes.
TJ, if I wouldn't, he would let his dogs out, and I wouldn't be able to get out of the bushes. And I would just get, again, the dogs would take a bite out of me and be like, this guy tastes like a watermelon bimbo.
That was bad because I remember, too, we got that's when Rod Woodson came back at the end of the season, too, with his leg.
He came back. I remember the first pass defense he had pointed at his knee.
Yep,
and like you knew, like we're going second half. I'm like surprised on they're coming back. They're driving. I'm going, and then I'm still convinced Neil O'Donnell was paid off.
The double agent, and then he goes to the Jets, and he has a terrible career. You know what? Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
Got a terrible acne.
I'm not going to go that far, but he's just a crummy human being. Go ahead, Tim. What else you got?
All right. He wants to know. What can we expect from the boys' trip out in Vegas next week?
Oh boy! Well, Tim did mention we're going to be doing a heavy buffet. I mean, it's the craziest buffet. Tim sent some video of what the buffet is. I can't even describe.
How big of a loser am I that I'm looking at buffet videos for Vegas? Think about that.
As you eat your as
I eat my bimbo watermelon gummies, that my wife, she's going to have to start hiding these from me because I eat them all.
Tim, you know that those are basically breadcrumbs to the diabetes.
I can't stop eating them. If you ever want to find me or if there's a hit out on me, all you need to do is set a big mousetrap with a bunch of bimbo watermelon gummies that I'd run right into it. I'd be looking at the mousetrap like this.
So we are going to be doing some on location stuff. We'll be doing the Yinzer Bros there. We'll be doing a ton of things from the stadium. It's going to be epic.
You know what I had nerve to look at for Vegas?
No,
like I had nerve. I actually peaked at getting a cabana at the poolside. Then I thought to myself, I looked at the price and I go, I mean, yeah, there's going to be pretty much 4 rhinos running around. We don't need a cabana.
But what if they keep you supplied with them watermelon gummies things there?
I would give them my bank account number right now and say, Tim, take whatever you need.
Are you bringing some bags of those with you?
You know, here's what I'll probably do. This sums me up it's in a nutshell. I can go down and get these at Walgreens for like $1.98 per bag. Mm-hmm. So my guess is I probably won't do that, and I'll get to the airport and I'll buy 10 bags at $7 a pop when I'm at the airport.
Tim.
At 6 a.m. I'll be like, yeah, I need to give me 10 bags of, and I'll split up between the watermelon bimbos and the Peachio bimbos. And I'll probably have 5 of those bags on the way to the stinking Vegas. Then I'll probably need another 3 bags waiting for you guys for another 2 hours. Then I'll probably get to Vegas and got another 10 bags at $7 a pop.
Oh gosh! last year we did do the tailgate thing, which was a colossal money trap with all of our I mean, it was fun being out there, but we miscalculated how close it was. So we started walking and we realized we were going to die. So we had to get a rickshaw. Remember that kid that was pedaling us around, Tim?
Dude, I felt terrible for him. It was like two dinosaurs got the back of the rickshaw, and the guy was like 130 pounds,
and it was like 115 degrees.
I think the actual rickshaw, I think the ride was like $25. I think I gave him like 75 because I felt terrible for him. Yeah. I'm like, this dude, I mean, it was one of those things where like he had to get it going. Like he had to get some momentum. I'm surprised like we didn't have to get out and push the rickshaw and then jump in the rickshaw as he was pedaling.
Hey, at that point, it was either him or us, man. We needed it. I'm sorry. We started walking and we realized the YINZER bros aren't going to get very far. They're going to. I mean,
dressed all in black in Vegas when it's 110 is the. I knew we were at a problem when we were walking. We weren't even a third of the way over the bridge, which was pretty much 2.5 minutes outside the hotel. I was like, we got a problem. I was like, Houston, we have issues real quick.
So I wouldn't mind doing something like if it was close. But that was just a money grab.
They are the same people are doing that, and they're saying it's a 1/10 of a mile away from the actual stadium, so it's in a parking lot somewhere.
Well, but here's the reality. I mean, they're like all the food, all the stuff you can drink, and it was like a bag of Cheetos.
Yes, it was
300 of us. Here's somebody hand me that bag of Cheetos.
I mean,
hey, you know what? We should have done a YINZER Bros tailgate. Too late now, but.
The only thing we would have had was Bimbo watermelon gummies and Peachios.
Hey, we can't control it all. You got anything else in the YINZER Bro mailbag?
No, that's it.
All right. So again,
can't stop eating these.
If you'd like to send us something, you can send it to yinzerbros@gmail.com. yinzerbros@gmail.com. If you're lucky enough, you can be on the program. All right, let's talk about the Cowboys real quick. Tim, do the Cowboys make you nervous? Of course they do, because you live in your fears, Tim.
No, I mean, it's tough for me to say Cowboys make me nervous because, like, I look at Mike McCarthy, and, like, all I keep thinking, like, in his brain, like, all I keep thinking, like if you, like, looked inside his brain, like, it's like a pot, he's thinking, like, pot roast. It's like a pot roast is in his brain. That's it.
I know he's a Pittsburgher, but he's a Putz man. I don't know.
I mean, he just walks around like this dude looks like all he does is think about pot roast all day.
Well, let's talk about the Cowboys offense. You got Dak. I mean, I don't think Dak's a bad quarterback, but he also has that gift of kind of chucking the ball up at the worst possible moment. He's a turnover guy at the worst possible moment.
I agree, and dude, it's going to be like ridiculously irritating at like 8 o'clock, and all you're hearing on the TV, it's loud too, is "Here we go, go" for him. Like every time I watch a Cowboy game, like I want to punch the screen.
He's pretty bad. I mean, they don't. The Cowboys are struggling to run the ball. They're having line issues, which is bad.
They got Zeke looks like you running the ball behind.
Well, he's my age, I think. Isn't he my age?
TJ, I told you this again. This is a peek into my brain again. Me and my co-owner, who is a Dallas fan, like we drafted Zeke in our fantasy league this year. I looked at him, I'm going,
why did you draft him?
Our whole draft was based off of me giving him somebody and me getting somebody from the Steelers. So we just kind of divvied it up. We're like, well, I'll give you a Dallas guy if you give me a Steeler guy. It was like that. It was like that the whole draft.
Wow. Yeah, they do. I mean, obviously they got CeeDee Lamb, who's ridiculous.
Yeah, he scares me. Their tight end's very good too.
So how do you think the Steelers defense matches up against those guys?
TJ, the Steelers defense better come out the gates like they got flames coming out of their rear end, because TJ, after last game, I mean, they got to do something. Yeah. I mean, TJ Watt shouldn't be getting it. He's at home, so he should get his calls. That team should be they should be coming out all guns a-blazing.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like we'll have Herbig back. He's been practicing again. I did see that Ogunjobi. He looks like he's a little banged up, but I think they're getting decent push up front. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm with you. I think we rank up well. Now let's talk about the Cowboy defense. Obviously, we know that they've been banged up a little bit. No Micah Parsons. He's out. They do struggle to stop the run.
They got DeMarcus Lawrence isn't playing either.
I know.
TJ, I don't know what you want me to. Their defense sucks. It stinks. But I said the same thing about the Colts last week. Like, they're worse than the Colts.
I know.
A lot worse than the Colts.
And we saw how that worked out.
Even if they were healthy, they're worse than the Colts. They're a terrible defense.
I get it. So, do you like how the Steelers' offense? I mean, we only got Najee. We don't really have any. I think you could go apply for running back.
But the reason why I don't like it because it's like, I think they're ranked 27th or 28th in the league against rushing Dallas. Mm-hmm. And we got to do the running back that runs with one eye open and one eye closed. I don't like it at all.
Hey, you're going to get to see some of our juggernaut. They're bringing guys up the practice squad to run the ball a little bit.
There's a dude that I think he was substituting at Perry Academy.
I saw last year. I saw it. He was grading papers. He's a substitute teacher. I don't know. I mean, Patterson didn't practice this week again either.
He ain't playing. Don't. And it's a funny thing. Like Patterson, like, can you imagine that locker room? Because I've seen Patterson shoot out about 15 texts to Davante Adams. Like, can you imagine like his stalls like right like next to like Vance Jefferson? He's like, hey Jefferson, check this one out.
That would be awesome. It could be. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, what I don't want to see is I don't want Justin to be like, okay, I got to just do this thing by myself.
He is. TJ, Justin Fields may run for 400 yards this game.
I'm fine with that. I just don't want him to feel the pressure of all that stuff. So I think our offense matches up well as long as we stay within ourselves. So give me, what is your score prediction for the game?
Sunday Night Football. They lost last week. I can't see them. I just can't vision them losing this game. I can't. Yeah. Like, I don't even feel like – last week I was nervous. Like, I was like, this got to be a Tomlin game. This week I just can't – trust me, all the Tomlin game jitters will pop in again. Probably, when I'm waiting for you guys at the Vegas airport for you guys to land. That's what I'm like, oh, feeling Tomlin game. They have to win by a lot. And I'm thinking I'm going to say, like, they're going to put up 28 points, hold Dallas to maybe 14 points, 2014.
Okay. I'm going to say 27-10. I'm feeling it. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it.
I hope so. I am getting a little worried about their secondary. Like Porter, he's starting to get me a little nervous. Jay Peasy.
Again, he's a second-year player, so I think he's still figuring some things out. I think their scheme will be better.
When do we get back the guy that should be in prison?
Week 8.
Okay.
So we're getting closer. I mean, we're going to be week 5, and then we get him right after the bye. When's our bye? Week 7?
No,
I think it's week 9. I think our bye is week 7 or week 8. We get him right after that. That's a huge addition to get him back. I mean, he's huge.
Yeah,
you're talking about Cam Sutton, right?
Yeah, very large.
You get Cam Sutton back, and you figure out how to get a number 2 receiver here.
I don't even want to speak into existence because I just don't. I don't want to because my heart's going to be broken.
We are aggressively making plays for Davante Adams.
TJ, it's going to come down, and we're going to be like, dude, I can't believe they traded for this bum. You're going to be like, this guy just.
Hey, aren't you glad we didn't give $30 million to Brandon Ayuk?
No, I still would have gave $30 million to Brandon Ayuk. I still would have done it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's turning out to be kind of a turd out there now.
He'll be fine. Trust me. It's all said and done. You'll be like, when it's all said and done, you'll be like, yeah, this dude, he's 26.
You'd pay the guy. So let me ask you a question. Of all the other ones too, I mean, we got some other free agent wide receivers out there. Can you see us trying to grab somebody else? They got that kid down in Jacksonville that's not
Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
Christian Kirk. But I did see like the one thing that impressed me, like he's like high up in like getting off press coverage. Mm-hmm. And I need somebody like, dude, you know who would be perfect for this offense right now?
Yeah, we got rid of him.
Deontay Johnson. Yeah. Guy that can get open, he's a route runner. Yeah. Be perfect.
As long as he didn't run backwards. But it's funny. I didn't know this. There's a rule there. We can't. I know. You can't trade him back, which is weird.
I know. But that's the type of dude. We need somebody that can get open, get off.
Well, I think Kurt's he's one of those guys. I mean, here's the reality too. Davante Adams is one of those guys. He was a great route runner. He's older.
I know.
Who else? Anybody else you're like we could target?
There's no dudes like that with route running that I could possibly think of. And then you got, I don't know who else would be available. You got
to grab it off a sinking ship. It's got to be a team that's starting to tank.
That's the $1 million question. Who's going to start a tank? I mean, If I'm the Dolphins, I would just say I'm tanking this year, and I just rebuild it. And it'd be nice getting Waddle, but you're not going to. I mean,
No, you're not going to get Waddle. It would be nice. I mean, here, do they still think if they think they got a shot, and all they need is that quarterback? I mean, tell me what other quarterback in the league you would go to that would give you instant credibility to give you a shot at making a run. I mean, it's got to be Russell Wilson. Who else are they going to go for?
I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't. If I'm the guys in Miami, I'd just be like, no,
It gives you a couple years. You built the whole team. You need a quarterback piece. The question is this: what do they think he would be worth?
I don't know.
Third rounder?
I don't know. Don't know. But I heard somebody on the radio say it interestingly. If you say, hey, third rounder, go. The first call that I would make is to Tannehill. Yeah. Like, hey, why don't you come back up? At least he knows Arthur Smith's system. If Fields goes down, throw him in there. It should be seamless. Because I don't know about Brandon. You can imagine going with Brandon Allen the rest of the year.
No, I mean he didn't look awful in preseason, but I would go for Tannehill. Absolutely, as a backup, grab him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I again, it's not going to matter. Week 7, Russ is going to be in Vegas. I'm guessing by midway through the first quarter, I'm going to look at you and I'm like, again, I give you full permission to bear me out somewhere in Vegas and be like, get rid of the voodoo guy, get rid of him.
He just doesn't look like he's running for his life like he did before, though.
I'm just telling you because you know what's going to happen. Because my guess is. I'm not even going to say it. No, just forget about it. We'll probably get Davante Adams before that. We'll go back to a Vegas game. I'll be like, here we go. Next thing you know, Jay Fields goes down. Like Russ comes in, still hobbling on one leg. And
Tim, you're a Yinzer. Golly. All right. Well, we have our score predictions in. We got everything in. Again, we're the Yinzer Bros. If you like what you hear, pass the podcast to all your friends and your neighbors. We need subscriptions. Subscribe to YouTube. Go to all your podcast destinations to get everything.
Maybe I'll give a bag of Bimbo watermelon to a couple a random subscriber that's new.
I love that. That's a good call. Tim. Again, we're the Yinzer Bros. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
Still number 1 out here, right?
See you soon to be in Vegas, baby. Later.